Good afternoon. It's the 27th of July 2024 and we're here in the UK in the historic city of Coventry, the home of Jaguar, in the Coventry Transport Museum in the Jaguar Heritage Collection Room. So let's look round and see what we can see. Jaguar started fundamentally as the vision of one man, Blackpool Williams Lyons, who joined forces with his neighbour William Wormsley in 1922 and established Swallow sidecars. Expansion to larger premises brought with it a new ventures quite soon. The famous Austin 7 was given the Lyons treatment as the Austin Swallow, which was very different from the Austin original. Swallow by 1930 was renamed SS Cars with new models, the SS1 and the SS2. And the business grew and expanded with more models being added until World War II interrupted production. And in fact the factory became an aircraft repair facility, as well as making sidecars and trailers in quantity for the British Armed Forces. There is Sir William, very fine man, and his Jaguar XJ6 is held nearby at the British Motor Museum at Gaydon, the largest British motor museum in the world. William Lyons on his Harley Davidson 1922. The early years. William Lyons is quoted as saying, "I began to wonder if I had the ability to produce what was in my imagination." A fine epitaph for a fine man. And these are early cars, the sidecar, the Swallow, early SS's, pre-war, very rare, fetch great amounts of fortune. Then the war came, the war ended, and new cars came about. A sports car. This is the record-breaking XK 120. Beautiful example there. Post-war, there was very much a boom, and that boom continued into the 1950s. But the emphasis was the exporting. Post-war Britain was bankrupt, so export or die was the slogan, and Jaguar did just that. First with the XK 120, what we've just seen, which took America by storm and brought fame and wealth to the Coventry manufacturer, and later with the superb Mark 7 saloon. Orders from around the world kept the Browns Lane factory working flat out to meet the demand for its cars. Jaguar had become a major global company, with its producers defining the best for Britain, and William Lyons was knighted in 1956 for his contribution to Britain's export drive. Here we have the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and her late husband Prince Philip visiting the Browns Lane Jaguar factory in 1956. Jaguar was at the Earl's Court Motor Show in 1949. And the beautiful 1959 Jaguar XK 150 sports car. It was advertised in 1959 with the slogan, "Only 7,500 Americans can get a new Jaguar this year." And so we come to the swinging 60s, a time of expansion. Enzo Ferrari said of the E-Type, the most beautiful car ever made, and this beautiful yellow example dates from 1967. The E-Type is probably the most recognisable car in the world. It arrived in 1961 and simply took everyone in the automotive industry by surprise. But there was much more to Jaguar than the E-Type. Engineering innovations such as independent rear suspension all contributed to make the brand special. Jaguar's fame grew steadily with the E-Type and the XJ6, reaffirming the Coventry carmaker's place in the global automobile industry. So we have Mark IIs here, we have XJ6s, Mark 10. And so we come to slightly more modern Jaguars. Another slogan of William Lyons: success comes from believing in what you're doing. So here we have the beautiful XJS. This one a special commemorative edition for the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's 25th anniversary, with indeed a special royal crest on the door. Not sadly one owned by Her Majesty herself. It's certainly a nice car to drive around in at the time. And another modern Jaguar sports car, the XK8 Coupe. And then we have the S-Type. And so it's time to look to the future. So let's look at the future of Jaguar, an electric Jaguar I-Pace. This early 2018 car was one of the earliest Jaguar electric cars made. A type of car now finding favour on both sides of the Atlantic, and whose popularity will increase as fossil fuel driven cars are slowly driven out of production. But Jaguar also produces concept cars from time to time, and the model range is larger than ever. The KX75 concept car, of which we have a beautiful example in silver here, is identical to the orange car that was driven by the big nasty baddie in the James Bond film Spectre, and eventually forced James Bond's Aston Martin into the River Tiber in Rome. That actual car also still exists and is held by Jaguar Land Rover at their classic historic Jaguar Restoration Centre not far from here. I've seen the vehicle. Unfortunately, photographs of those privately owned Jaguar cars are not permitted for visitors. So I hope this has given you a taste of Jaguar in its hometown of Coventry in the UK, and this museum and nearby Gaydon, which has a specialised historic Jaguar room, contain probably the finest collections of Jaguar cars in the world.